Imagine failing not once, not twice, but 69 times. Ethan Whitmore was the only son of one of the most powerful billionaires in the country. He had money, connections, and every advantage a young man could ever dream of. But when it came to building something of his own, he was a walking disaster. Every business he started, tech apps, luxury fashion, online marketplaces, collapsed in flames. The media loved it. Every failure became a headline. Billionaire's son burns. Through another 5 Mallards. Ethan Whitmore, the trust fund king of failure. By the time he hit his 69th failure, investors had stopped returning his calls. Even his father had started warning him, "You're not a child anymore. You've got one last chance, Ethan. One more failure, and I cut you off for good." But what nobody expected was that Ethan's greatest teacher wouldn't be a Harvard professor, a famous consultant, or some billionaire mentor. It would be the man who mopped the floors. Ethan grew up in a world where problems disappeared with a phone call. If his car broke down, someone bought him a new one. If he struggled in school, tutors were hired, but his father, Charles Whitmore, believed deeply in earning success. When Ethan turned 21, Charles gave him $10 million and a challenge. Start a business, build something real, prove you can stand, without me holding you up. At first, Ethan thought this was going to be easy. Money was power, and he had plenty of it. He launched his first startup with a flashy office, an expensive team, and a launch party that made the news. But within months, the company collapsed. Instead of learning, Ethan just moved to the next project. He blamed bad luck or lazy employees for every loss. But as the years passed, the failures piled up until they became his identity. 69 businesses. 69 embarrassing public collapses. Inside the family's corporate tower, employees whispered about him. Some felt sorry for him. Others thought he was just entitled. But there was one man who never judged him, Samuel Brooks, the building's janitor. Samuel was in his late 50s, with a quiet strength about him. He had been there for decades, cleaning offices and polishing floors while billion-dollar deals were made just feet away. Every morning, Samuel would say, "Morning, Mr. Whitmore." And every morning, Ethan would nod without really seeing him. Until the night everything fell apart. After his 69th business failed spectacularly, costing investors millions, Ethan sat alone in the office. Papers were everywhere, headlines mocking him glowed on his phone, and he could almost hear the laughter of the business world outside those windows. He stayed there for hours, just staring. That's when Samuel quietly walked in. "You all right, son?" he asked, voice calm, almost fatherly. Ethan scoffed. "Do I look all right to you?" Samuel leaned on his mop. "No. You look like someone who's been fighting the wrong battle," Ethan snapped. "You don't know what you're talking about. You clean floors for a living. You think you understand business?" Samuel didn't flinch. "I understand people, and that's all business is, people." That stopped Ethan cold. The next day, Ethan found himself replaying Samuel's words. He couldn't focus on anything else. Later that evening, he went looking for him. "What did you mean by that?" "Business is people?" Ethan asked. Samuel smiled gently. "You've built 69 companies, but none of them had a soul. You built them to impress your father, to silence critics, to stroke your pride. You never built something that helped someone else. That's why you failed." For the first time, Ethan didn't argue, because deep down, he knew Samuel was right. From that day on, Ethan started talking to Samuel more. He asked about life, about struggle, about what kept him going despite cleaning floors for 30 years. Samuel told him stories about growing up poor, about working 3 jobs to feed his kids, about never quitting even when no one believed in him. Something in Ethan began to shift. For the first time, he realized how blind he had been to the people around him. With Samuel's guidance, he went back to the drawing board. this time not as the arrogant billionaire's son, but as a student. He interviewed employees in every department. He asked them what problems they saw every day that nobody was fixing. He wrote everything down, and then he built his 70th business. Not for his father's approval, not for the headlines, but to solve those problems. This time, everything was different. The company wasn't about expensive ads or influencer hype. It was about real solutions. Employees worked harder because they felt heard. Investors were shocked when they saw how fast the company was growing, and for the first time, they trusted Ethan. Within a year, the company hit a 1B valuation. The same business media that mocked him now ran headlines like, "Billionaire's son finally wins big," and credits Janitor for his success. At the celebration party, Ethan stood on stage and said, "Most of you know me as the guy who failed 69 times. But what you don't know is that my success came from the one person no one ever noticed. Samuel, will you come up here?" Samuel walked slowly to the stage, shocked. Ethan hugged him and handed him a framed document, a share in the company, and an official advisory position. The crowd erupted into applause. Ethan had finally learned that money could buy opportunity, but wisdom, real wisdom, could come from anywhere. Ethan's story is proof that you don't need to be rich or powerful to change someone's life. You just need the courage to speak the truth. What about you? Would you have listened to Samuel if you were in Ethan's place? Comment below, like this video, and watch our previous story, Billionaire Wanted His Daughter to Pick Wealth. She picked the black housekeeper instead. You'll see just how powerful, unexpected choices can be.